Hey everybody, Old Buck Dave here again, episode 225 of Two Old Bucks. And with me is none other than the smiling face of
Old Buck Dell.
Old Buck Dale. How you doing, buddy?
Okay, hanging in there.
Hanging in there. That's all we can do here. As we pray for the end of summer to come in Florida here. But it's
Which comes around November the
which
20th or
which
something.
comes to
Yeah, still hot.
yeah. I did a bike ride today. I'm cooked. Um, Speaking of being cooked, I got some feedback from the last couple episodes here, and I thought you might get a chuckle out of this first one, particularly when you say with respect to heat affects my brain.
Oh,
This listener says that was just hilarious. He says, "Well, now I know why I never let my phone out of my pocket." That was cute. That was cute. We got a lot of feedback on our last episode, which was Dr. Craig Benjamin, our interview with him. Uh,
mm,
I'm pretty sure that's the most feedback we got from listeners of any episode. We've had a couple that were pretty high. Of course, Bridie was way up there, but I think I got so many people just writing in short notes saying, "Wow, great guy, incredible," you know, why can't I do that sort of thing?
I, I thought, Dave, that the opportunity just to talk to a guy like that, you happened to be someplace where you met him and he was willing to talk to us. I mean, otherwise I would have never got to meet him. So he was a great guy.
And he's out on the seas again as we
Yeah,
speak. So he's out there. He's
it's
cruising.
his job.
Yeah, I did. I kept a couple of the responses here just to read them. It says, "Phew, Craig and his travel tales slash life story make me exhausted and envious of his experiences.
Mm.
I went to the supermarket today and played a poor round of 9 holes at my local course. Yikes and double yikes. Thanks so much for sharing." And then he did spur some interest. Somebody says, just after finishing the podcast, I did look up the 751 Battle of Talus. And it says, I get travel fatigue just thinking of the hassle of getting there. Great interview. And this was another kind of scientific one. He says, I wonder if Craig has included new archaeological information acquired through LIDAR. I recently read an article about old trade routes used in the silk trade. They were discovered through LIDAR, hidden for centuries under the desert sands. LIDAR is that ground penetrating X-ray.
Radar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ground penetrating radar. Right. So we got tons of those, but needless to say, that was one of our most enjoyable episodes. At least for me, it
Yeah.
was.
We were fortunate enough to be able to do that.
Yeah. Got my final report from Black Mountain. I ended up with 12 bear sightings over the 5 weeks. So that was interesting.
But there's a lot of bears up there, right? I
A
mean,
lot of
that's bear
bears up
country.
there. A lot of bears. That's bear country. Unlike Florida, they're not going to massacre them all here shortly. Uh, you've seen what's going on. The big bear hunt
I
coming up.
see. Yeah, I saw that, and I mean, they pretty much were going to issue a limited amount of licenses, but that pretty much guarantees that many will be killed because, I mean, the way I look at it, the bear can only you can corral him between the interstate and the sea. There's no place for him to run, So
Yeah, yeah.
they'll probably shoot at least that many. So
And my grandsons were up for a couple days over Labor Day. And of course, the first thing they said is, "Can we see a bear? Can we find a bear?" And so, like the first day, we were sitting out on the porch, on the swing, and I looked over, and across the street, there's a bear ambling by. It was we decided it was a teenage bear. It wasn't full grown, and it wasn't a cub. So they got to see their bear, and
yeah, nonetheless a bear, right?
nonetheless a bear.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I said once. See that gray spot out there against that hillside? Looks like a big rock. That's an elephant.
That's an
Oh,
elephant.
really? It looks like a big rock. No, that's an elephant.
Yeah,
Okay.
watch that rock move, huh? Did you ever want to have one of those guys come at you, by the way?
No, I never got that close. I was close to one, but we backed up. We
Hmm.
just put it in reverse and gave him the road, and he ambled on by.
Yeah, that kind of happened to me once too. Like, is he going to stop coming toward us? And he did. He did. We just kept backing up, and he said, "Okay." I
Hey,
guess he figured, "Okay, I got you frightened off." So
speaking of that, we've talked about that on some episodes in the past. But do you still have that photo of you standing next to that big tusker
I do. I do have that. Yeah,
that I accused of being fake?
being fake. It was
And
not
you said,
fake.
no, that was a real McCoy,
And
and that was a
I have the
beautiful
broken
animal.
shoulder to prove it. When he laid his trunk on my shoulder, it's like, wow, that's a lot of weight there. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I never got that close. So,
that was quite a treat. Only other thing I can say is what a long, strange trip it's been.
ah,
This is my way of breaking the news here that this will be the last episode of Two Old Bucks, at
yep.
least for the foreseeable future. It's been quite a trip. It has been a long, strange trip, and it's been a lot of fun. I remember when I called you during the early days of the pandemic and said, we should start a podcast, and you said,
What's a
"What's
podcast?
a podcast?" So, like, 225 episodes later, we're still trying to figure it out.
You helped, Matt. You put it together. I
But
was glad. I was glad to be a part of that.
we
So,
did a lot of talking. You did your share of talking. You carried your
mhm.
load. You carried your load with honor and loyalty and everything.
Showed up when the invitation came to
Yeah.
podcast.
I checked it. We've had, basically our podcast has mostly been about nothing. Um, and I checked, Seinfeld is, they're noted for, what's your show about? Nothing.
Mhm.
They only had 180 episodes, and we've had 225. So, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. You should compare the two. But if you look, and I've watched every episode at least 40 times, every episode was about something. It was about one little something. That's
That's
a
true.
little
It
nugget.
wasn't really about nothing. It was
Yeah, it
about
was
something.
always about something that Larry David and them two found amusing, and they weaved it into a story. To do 30 minutes. But yeah, I mean, the old Bucks got together because we were old friends, and even if we're not podcasting, we will still be rendezvousing and still exchanging thoughts and ideas over various meals or coffee or whatever we do to chuckle. We laugh just as much. We
We,
laugh just as much when we're there. I mean,
that's right.
yeah,
Maybe more because we say
maybe
other
more.
things
Yeah.
that we
So,
don't say on the air, on the wire, whatever it is.
but 225 is a good night, good
Two
run.
225 is a good run. Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, Seinfeld had fewer episodes. They might have had more viewers than us, but it was probably close. It's probably close. uh, but yeah, I just thought I'd go over some of our biggest episodes and some of our favorite episodes, at least some of mine, and I know you've got your favorites too. The one we did with Bridie Thielen Heidel, number 118, author of We Owned the Night. That's still our number one downloads. We're still getting downloads once in a while on that one. So, yeah, that was quite an episode. That's quite a book that she wrote. Of course, her book came out after the podcast. So I'm sure we helped spur the sale of that book
It was a
a
pleasure
little
to
bit.
speak with that girl.
Yeah, good gal, good gal. And then the one that's in second now, and it's just actually it's only a few downloads behind, is the interview with Phoenix, who was that wounded frontline doctor in Ukraine.
Ah,
Yeah, that one keeps. That one's probably going to surpass her because it's getting more downloads than her episode is.
well,
That
that
was
was about
episode
something. That was about
that.
something.
Oh yeah. All the
Yeah,
interviews
yeah,
were
that
seriously
was definitely
somethings.
about something. That
Yeah,
situation there. So,
yeah. That was 103 episodes ago, and that war is still going on.
yeah, I
And
was glad to play a small part in that. I was touched immensely by being able to speak to him, and I mean, we're talking about a man who's in the front lines, a
wounded.
medic
Yeah,
and wounded.
a
Yeah,
doctor.
so
They call him a medic, but it's what we would call an MD here, a
Hmm.
doctor. Yeah, he was the real thing, and he had some really good insights on what.
You know, David, thinking about that, what touched me the most was I asked him something about how does the weather affect, you know, you're as a soldier, and he said the weather affects both
Affects
sides.
both sides. I remember
And
that.
I'm telling you, he said
Like,
the weather affects our enemy too,
yeah,
and nobody, no. So, well, if somebody wants to listen to something that's quite emotional, I'd say go ahead back and listen to that one.
yeah. Well, while we're on the Ukraine thing here, I'm particularly proud of the Ukraine related episodes that we did. And we did several. I don't know. If I go back and count them, it's probably 10 or
Mm,
12
hmm.
that was like a main theme in them, or the only theme in them.
Because we
We
thought that would be over by now.
we did think this would be,
We
yeah,
thought the world would stand up and
yeah,
stop it, but they didn't.
yeah. If you recall, we talked to the people who set up a system in a couple small towns in France to take in over 200 refugees, and Paul and Annie Triguet arranged that for us. Paul being a fellow he is kind of doing logistics on the side to get supplies into Ukraine, and Annie is teaching French to her adult students there. Paul set up a couple other interviews for us as well. Of course, the one with Phoenix and Roland Roland Bartetsko, and and then we had an interview with Paul and one of the British paratroopers who was getting supplies into Ukraine. That was a pretty interesting interview there. And then, of course, the time that that I went to France to interview the Ukrainian women and got food poisoning, he covered for me. So we named him Eurobuck Paul. He did an interview for me, which was really nice. And then if you remember Yulia Kozenkevich, that was the unissued diplomas project, which
That
honored.
was a
That
touching
was a
story
tough one,
there.
wasn't it? That was
Yeah,
particularly
it was a
tough
tough
because
one.
she was recognizing students who had been killed in the war. So they'll never get their diplomas.
Yeah, just to remind people that they're real people. These are actually young, living souls that will never graduate.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, there was Valentin, the Russian citizen who fled his country over Putin and the war in Ukraine. He gave us quite a fascinating interview there of his plight and getting across the border and stealth mode and that sort of thing. So yeah, we've done some stuff. And then of course there were the Ukrainian refugees who made it to St. Pete, the one in Florida, not the one in Russia there. And they're now flourishing. They're doing quite well, all things considered, but certainly still concerned about what lies ahead. Uh, mom's got a pretty decent job now, like putting together integrated circuit board, something like that. So it's not, she's doing an interesting job.
And we wish them all the best.
Yeah, the two daughters, the elder daughter is a sophomore in high school right now, and she is also taking college courses while she's in high. She goes like to I don't know if it's University of Florida or anyway. So it's good to see that, and it's good to see that we were, it's good to know we were able to raise some money for both the folks in the Ukrainian refugees in France and Ukrainian refugees in particular, and certainly the ones in St. Pete. So that was, yeah, we did a tiny bit there,
Tiny bit.
tiny bit, yeah. And of course, the other interviews that were a lot of fun. Of course, VV1,
Remarkable lady, old VV1.
remarkable lady,
She's
yeah,
a
still a
remarkable lady.
loyal listener. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a good, interesting interview with her. She was on Jeopardy, and we weren't. Yeah,
yeah.
and of course, Superman Terry. It was he's like the mechanical MacGyver. He's like you, except he's got a machine shop of his own to do all this stuff. Yeah,
Right. Where I work on a watch battery, he works on a giant
yeah,
car engine or something.
yeah.
So yeah,
He'll build a
same
car and
same same thing. It's
same
pretty much
thing, just
interchangeable.
same
I'm telling
thing,
you.
same thing. Of course, Dr. Vito, who drove the trolley and had some fun trolley stories for him. Uh, they're
Some of
more,
the book writers, Dave. No, don't forget
yeah,
those
yeah. Let's
guys.
talk about some of them.
I
Of
mean, like,
course, Bruce Reddick was another one that I really enjoyed.
right.
He was another Lake Tahoe connection. So I really enjoyed reading his book, and I know a couple other people picked it up as well.
He's another fascinating individual.
Yeah.
Just interesting to talk to.
If I look back at our list here, our third most highest downloads was the interview with Judge Clarence Jones. If we recall that, I think that was wow, that was number 84. That was really a long time ago. Still still a good one to listen to, and I'll post these in the show notes for people too if they want to go back
Mm.
and listen to those. And then here's another. This is a dark horse here. And number four was our interview with Toogie Silch, Tahoe Toogie,
Oh, the
the
bear
bear
guy.
whisperer. Yeah, the
Yeah, the
bear
bear
guy.
was. Yeah,
Yeah,
the bear was.
yeah. And I still get stuff from him periodically. Where he's posting about bears, and videos of bears. And he's actually in the middle of a big controversy out there with a bear group that he feels that the group they're trying to get too aggressive with the bears. Anyway.
And don't forget our friend that we lost.
Oh yeah, Frank Young.
Yes, what a nice, what,
Boy,
yeah. What can I say about Frank? He was just a articulate somebody and had seen the world
yeah. we
quite.
had we had him back. We had him back
Yeah, he was a
because
fantastic guy.
of course the first episode was interviewing him, talking about his book that he wrote and is spending his sophomore year of college in India.
Hmm.
And then of course we had him back and he talked about his career in the foreign service. And he was a pretty important person, particularly in Africa and USAID.
Hmm.
That's unfortunately that's the late great USAID now.
Hmm.
If we could have half the people in this country listen to that episode with Frank, you would understand the meaning of soft power and all the stuff that goes on and gets done behind the
Yes,
scenes.
yes.
Well, and Frank was just a terrific guy.
Yeah, we were fortunate that well, Frank being Frank, he was willing to talk to us, and we got to know him, and of course, we cared a lot about him, and was sad to see him. So pass
Yeah, we
away.
had we had a couple other authors too. I remember Agnes, who talked about her brother, her book about her brother, who was executed by the Nazis in World War
Oh,
II in a
oh yeah, yeah.
concentration camp. And boy, there's just too many to remember, it seems. But yeah, that was pretty good. That was really good.
But the opportunity, our little podcast opportunity, gave us a real chance to meet actual people. And we love books. We talked about books all the time. Actual meet people who took the time and effort to actually write a book. I mean,
Get her
everybody's an
done.
author
Get
as
her
long as
done.
someone else is doing the work, right? But here, these guys, these folks were, and then when you get to know them, fascinating individuals and interesting and
Absolutely.
hug an author.
Yeah, yeah. And then, of course, there were the episodes where we read some short stories, and I look back on those, and the favorite in that category seemed to be The Quiet by Carries Davies. That's got the most downloads, and that's followed by Bullet in the Brain by Tobias Wolff. And in third place was Mud by Jeffrey Forsyth. Interesting.
Hmm.
But I think the one I had the most fun doing though is the alien thing, where we both had a part and they were you ever I just
Where I read a part and you read a part.
yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was good. And we got a lot of good feedback on that as well.
And the two old bucks can remember these things.
Some, yeah, at least for a while.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, so listen, these are eventually going to go away from our website if you access it via the Two Old Bucks Buzzsprout website. That's eventually going to disappear. But I believe the episodes will live on in YouTube. We've got both. We've got all the audio episodes in YouTube, and we've got some of the videos that we did. We posted. We extracted short videos from some of the episodes and put those on YouTube. Oh, that reminds me. What about Mahesh? We forgot. That was another.
Ah,
That was
there you
another
go.
great interview.
Yeah.
And your buddy Curtis Weber.
Yeah.
How could we forget Curtis?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fantastic
we did
teacher.
more than nothing, it seems. Yeah, it turns
Yeah, we
out.
did a little something. I mean,
Yeah.
Mahesh was I mean, we still run into Mahesh every now and then.
I saw him
And
last week. Yeah, actually. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
under his condition, and he's got a great attitude,
Yeah. That's
great,
funny.
real inspiration.
Yeah, and he can still he's still really sharp. He's still sharper
Mm,
than the average bear by a lot.
mm.
And we were talking a couple of us were talking last week about arguments with your wife and then how long it takes for everything to cool down, and things to be forgotten. And guys are like, well, overnight or 24 hour. Mahesh says he says 15 minutes afterwards, I can't remember it anyway. So, so
The
good for
folks,
him.
they ought to read.
He,
He reads the introduction, the first paragraph of his book sets the premise for that.
yeah,
But you ought to listen to that episode if you. It would make sense when he says in 15 minutes, I've forgotten about it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting. So yeah,
So
we've talked about a lot of things uh, that happen to us. The perplexities of the healthcare system, the
yeah,
things things that I mean, I think a lot of people would go through the same thing. It's just that everybody copes with it. We just had the opportunity to tell people.
t-
They
t-
probably said, "Yeah, I've been through that."
yeah. I mean, yeah. I think a lot of
I know
people could
exactly what
identify
he's
with a
talking
lot of
about.
that. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Like quirky things that happen to you, and you think, "Boy, am I the only one?" And you know that you're not the only one. So
Yeah, I mean, we learned some things along the way as we did some research on stuff like Bitcoin and
way back, that's right.
yeah, fake currencies.
Who
Yeah.
who'd have thought that was going to get like it is? I
Oh
mean,
my
I'm telling
God.
you,
Yeah, I guess.
like
Yeah, they're still
buy
la
one of these things that where's it at? Well, you can't
Yeah,
really hold it, and
yeah. But we had a lot of fun. As I say,
a lot of laughs.
learned some stuff. A lot of laughs. We had, of course, the challenges of getting this thing done right. The whole podcast process, that is. And of course, I had a chance to hang out with an old friend, a guy that I've known since single digits in age. So
Hey,
that's probably the best. That's probably the
that
best thing I
that's
got
what it
out
was
of it.
all about. That's what it was all about. Hey, we want to thank all the people that we were able to put to sleep.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
our little handle, the Melatonin
Another
brothers,
public
were
service. Yeah,
yeah, we all those folks that got a good night's rest by trying to listen to 15 minutes of our podcast and slept through the night. We're really
that's all it
grateful. You
took.
guys,
Sometimes, not
yeah,
even that much. Yeah,
we'll put a feather in our hat for that one. So, but again, Dave, it was all about friendship. It started about friendship. Our friendship will continue. We're going the distance, you and I, and we were glad to share it. It was fun to do it. We want to thank all the listeners that wrote in and all our friends who might have listened to us. It's, we can't be any more grateful for all that. It's been a wonderful thing on both ways, I think, in my view. So,
absolutely. Yeah, it's been a hoot. It's been a hoot. Remember, often reminded of John Lennon's quote. He says, "Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans." So here we are. We've had a lot of life happening around us.
well, I would like to be remembered that I was mostly right.
Mostly right. You were.
Mostly right.
You made a
Yeah,
lot of good calls
a lot of
along the
good
way.
predictions.
A lot of predictions. Yeah.
Uh, and I think some of them have come to pass.
Now, if you can just give me the Powerball numbers.
Yeah, the loser lotto. My philosophy on on that from the early days. But all in all, this is the what penultimate envelope. Is that the way you said it? The
It could be
penultimate.
that. Yeah. Could be that. Like the final.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Penultimate. Yeah. So
And again, this old Buckdale can't be more grateful for all our listeners and all those who wrote in and the friends we've made and still have, the friends we had for a while and still remember us. It's all good, Dave.
it's all
All
good.
good.
It's all good. I'm going to put in the show notes, and I'm going to try to play it, but I don't know if I can get it, if I can make it play or not. And that's the end of innocence, the end of the innocence. Good song. I think it's a lot of interesting, thoughtful stuff in there, appropriate for today's world, particularly. So that'll be something else we can leave the folks with.
And I should say, this is old Buckdale saying good night and goodbye.
Good night and goodbye. And this is Old Buck Dave saying good night and goodbye to everybody out there from the east, the west, the south, and the girl from the north country. Everybody out there, take care. We're the two old bucks. We love you. See you
Bye-bye.
somewhere down the road. Bye-bye.